वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणम्। चित्तदर्पणमार्जनं भवमहादावाग्निर्वापणं श्रेयः कैरवचन्द्रिका वितरणं विद्यावधूजीवनम् आनन्दाम्बुधिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतस्वादनं सर्वात्मास्नपनं परं विजयति श्रीकृष्णसङ्कीर्तनम्। नामकारी बहुधा निज सर्वशक्ति तत्रार्पितनियमितस्मरणेन कालः एतादृशी तव कृपा भगवन् ममापि दुर्दैवं दृश्यं ह्यजनेनानुरागः तृणादपि सुनिचेन तरोरपि सहिष्णुना अमानेन मानदेन कीर्तनीय सदा हरि। न धनं न जनं न सुन्दरीं कवितं वा जगदीश कामये मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे भवताद् भक्तिरहेतुकी कोई। नन्दतनुजा किङ्करं पतितं मां विषमे भवाम्बुधो कृपया तव पादपङ्कज स्थितधूळि सदृशं विचिन्तये। नयनं गलदश्रुधारया वदनं गद्गदरुद्धया गिरा पुलकैर्निचित्तं वपुः तव नाम ग्रहणे भविष्यति। युगायितं निमेषेण चक्षुषा प्रावृषायितं शून्यायितं जगत्सर्वं गोविन्दविरहेण आश्लिष्य वा पादरतां हिनस्तु माम् अदर्शनान् मर्महतां करोतु वा यथा तथा वा विदधातु लम्पटो मत्प्राणनाथस्तु सहेव न परः मत्प्राणनाथस्तु सहेव न परः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं क्रियते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीगुरुदिनतारिणम्। Hare Krishna, welcome all the devotees. Today's class will be in English, reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, chapter 4, text number 9 and 10. Yatha gunamstu prakarter yugapat कर्मसो अपि वा बिभर्ति भूरिशः त्व एकः कुर्वन् कर्माणि जन्मभिः। Word to word meaning: Yatha, as they are, gunan, the modes of, tu but prakritehe, of the material energy, yugapat, simultaneously, karmashaha, gradually, kramashah, gradually, api, also, va, either, bibharti, maintains, burishaha, many forms, tu but ekaha, the Supreme One, kurvan, acting, karmani, activities, janmabhihi, by incarnation. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is one, whether He alone acts with the modes of material nature or simultaneously expands in many forms or expands consequently to direct the modes of nature. Text number 10. Vichiktishtam etan me bravitu bhagavan yatha shabde brahmani nishnantaha pramasmins cha bhavan kalu. Vichikshitam, doubtful inquiries, etat, this, me, of me. Bravitu, just clear up. Bhagavan powerful, like the Lord, yatha, as much as Shabde, sound transcendental, Brahmani, Vedic literature, Nishnataha, fully realized, Parasmin, in transcendence, Cha also, Bhavan, your good self, Kalu, as a matter of fact. Kindly clear up all these doubtful inquiries, because you are not only vastly learned in Vedic literature and realized in transcendence, but are also a great devotee of the Lord and are therefore as good as the personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna. So before we begin today's verse, today's two verses, 9 and 10, we will try to recollect the previous verse. Yesterday we discussed the 8th verse. There, Parikshit Maharaj, he is telling Shukamuni, O learned Brahmana, the transcendental activities of the Lord are all wonderful. Harer adbhuta karmanaha. And to understand them, and they appear inconceivable because even great endeavors by many learned scholars have still proved insufficient for understanding them. Nunam, that word means still insufficient. For whom it is still insufficient? Kavibhis chapi cheshtitam. Kavibhis means learned persons. Yesterday I explained all these points. Kavibhi means who are learned, vastly learned. Even by the highly learned, Prabhupada is writing that, even by the highly learned, it is difficult to understand. What to understand? Hare adbhuta karmana. To understand the Lord's activities. It's all mysterious. Janma ghuyata bhagavato ya etad prayato naraha sayam prartha granan bhaktya dukkha gramat vimuchyate. So to understand all these things in truth, one has to approach spiritual master, like Parikshit has approached Shukamuni. Arjuna approached Krishna. All have to approach spiritual master. Without that, it's not possible. Tad vijnanartham sa gurum evapi gachet. Evapi gachet, Prabhupada translates it as one must approach. And who is spiritual master? Samit panihi shrotriyam. Shrotriyam means what? Generation by hearing. This is the Shrotriyam Guru Shishya Parampara. One must approach. Tattva Darshina. Then make inquiries. Before making inquiries, surrender. pranipat, then pariprashnena, then ready to do service, sevaya. Seeing all these qualifications, qualities of a disciple, then the spiritual master, upadhyakshantiti dhyanam dhyaninasva tattva darshana, he can reveal all these things. So, Parikshit Maharaj is telling Shukamuni, O learned Brahmana, the transcendental activities of the Lord are all wonderful. And they appear inconceivable even because even great endeavors, cheshtitam means endeavoring, great endeavors. By whom? Kavibis, greatly learned persons, highly learned. Even for such people making great efforts, great endeavors, they are not able to understand. Because the Lord's activities are all transcendental, inconceivable. The word used here is durvibhavyam, inconceivable. Okay? And we will go through today's verse, two verses. All right. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is one. God, G-O-D, singular. Demigods, they are innumerable, many. God, singular. Therefore Krishna is saying, Mam ekam sharanam raja. Ekam, only one. God is one. Mam eva, only unto me. God is one. Eko, Bahusham. One, he takes on many forms. The Supreme Personality Godhead is one. Whether he alone acts with the modes of material nature or simultaneously expands in many forms or expands consecutively to direct the modes of nature. He can act alone, he is totally independent, or many forms he can take, simultaneously expand in many forms, Ananta Rupa, or expands consecutively to direct the modes of nature, Guna Avatar. Modes of nature, Satguna, Rajaguna, Tamaguna. 3 avatars, Guna Avatar, Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh. Okay? So this is the 9th verse. Now 10th verse. This is all Parikshit's questions. And now again in the 10th he is asking further, kindly clear up all these doubtful inquiries. Kindly clear up all these doubtful inquiries. Prabhupada says, doubts are like demons. Doubts are like demons. If we don't destroy the doubt will destroy us. So they have to be cleared. In the Bhagavad Gita we can see Arjuna is addressing Krishna as Madhusudan. In one particular verse, Madhusudan. There Prabhupada writes, Krishna killed the demon Madhu, therefore is Madhusudana. Now Arjuna wants that Krishna also kill this doubt of demon, doubt which is like a demon, that also should be killed. Doubts, they have to be cleared up. Bhakti Vinod Thakur, in his Jaiva Dharma, he has pointed out 5 kinds of doubts. Which are those 5 kinds of doubts? First is who we are, that itself is doubt. Second is what is the goal of life? Second doubt. Third, what is the means or path to reach that goal? That also we don't know. Third doubt. Fourth, doubting contradictories in the Shastra. That is the fourth doubt. Fifth one, doubting our own abilities, whether we can do it or no. We begin to doubt our own abilities. Just like rising early in the morning. Hey, I don't think it's possible for me, we think. Or fasting on Ekadashi. No, it's not possible. It is possible, but we doubt our own abilities. These are all 5 kinds of doubts. So now Parikshit is asking Shukamuni, kindly clear up all these doubtful inquiries. So in the beginning there will be doubts. It has to be cleared. Just like an example is given, when the plane is flying at a particular height, you can see through the windows there are clouds coming. It is going through the clouds, the plane. Gradually the plane will go still higher. And then you see through the window, all clouds have gone down. They are on the earth as though like small cotton pieces here and there, they are fallen. So this is how, in the beginning there will be doubts. All beginners, we have to encounter doubts. Doubts have to be cleared by the spiritual master. And when one makes further progress, no doubts. Vidyante hridaya grantis, chudyante sarva samshaya, chiyasya chasya karmani drishtva ivatmanishwari. All doubts cleared. One time some Christian fathers, they met Prabhupada, and during their discussion they asked Prabhupada, what will you do if you have any doubt? They asked Prabhupada like this, what will you do if you have any doubt? Like somebody asked us what we will do if we are in doubt. There are 2 options for us. One is again read Prabhupada books. Again read. And then when we don't get answer, we can make inquiries from those who are more advanced devotees. We can inquire from them, senior devotees, and get those doubts cleared. This is what we do, and we should do. But this question was asked to Prabhupada, what will you do if you have any doubt? Prabhupada's reply was, I have no doubt. If I have doubt, how I can become spiritual master? This was Prabhupada's reply. I have no doubt. If I have doubt, how I can become spiritual master? So kindly clear up all these doubtful inquiries, because you are not only vastly learned in the Vedic literature and self-realized in transcendence. See, there are 2 things. One is Dhyana and Vijnana. Dhyana is knowledge. Vijnana, realized knowledge. There may be many people who have got knowledge, but have they realized? Big scholars they will be. But have they realized? Question mark. Don't know. Therefore, in that verse, Tadvidhi Pranipat 4.34, Tattva Darshina. Tattva Darshina means who has fully realized. Now 2 plus 2 equals to 4. An example I am giving. 2 plus 2 equals to 4. Now small child also, if you inquire 2 plus 2 equals to 4, he will say. He doesn't know how it becomes 4. And if you say, no, it is not 4, it is 5. Huh? Really? All right. 2 plus 2 equals to 5. He doesn't know how 2 and 2 equals 4. Gradually that boy begins to realize that how 2 and 2 equals to 4. He was one person, another friend came, mother asked, how many of you have come there? He said, 2 of us. Then one more person came, 3. Then one more person came, another friend came. Now mother asked, how many of you are there? 4. Now he is gradually realizing how 2 plus 2 equals to 4. Now we have realized this, 2 plus 2 equals to 4 many times. And if somebody tells us 2 plus 2 equals to 5, we will challenge. How has it become 5? So similarly, these statements of the Shastras, Bhagavatam, Gita, now one thing is knowledge. Second is realized knowledge. When somebody realizes these statements, there is firm conviction. In their talk, there is weight is there. Just like an example now, we say Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Very good, correct statement based on Shastra. Krishna is Supreme Personality. But have you realized Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Oh. So now, when a pure devotee like Rupa, he says, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hari Sarvottam, Madhvacharya. Hari Sarvottam. Now when they say, there is firm conviction because they have realized. That is the difference. Now Vedic literature, and you are vastly learned in Vedic literatures and self-realized in transcendence, but are also a great devotee of the Lord. 3 points about Shukamuni Parishit is saying. One is he is vastly learned in what? Vedic literature, not material education. Vedic literature, spiritual education, spiritual knowledge, vastly learned. Second point is realized in transcendence. Second point, self-realized, Krishna realized, God realized, everything. Third is, he is a pure devotee of Krishna and are therefore, are also a great devotee of the Lord. 3 qualifications. Then finally he is saying, and are therefore as good as the personality of Godhead. And therefore, as good as the personality of Godhead, Bhagavan. Bhavan, your good self. Bhavitu Bhagavan Yata. As good as the Lord, not God. Like we sing every day for Prabhupada, Sakshat Haritvena Samasta Shastre Uktastatha Bhava Eta Eva Sadbhi Kintu Prabhuryah Priya Eva Tasya Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. Sakshat Hari. but not Hari. Kintu Prabhurya Priya Evatas. Because they are confidential servants. Therefore, they are as good as Hari. Just like during British rule, there was there are persons known as Viceroy. Roy refers to the king. Viceroy is a person who represents the king. Now when the Viceroy came, all respect would be given, as much as respect given to the king, because he represents the king. Similarly, the spiritual master is the representative of Krishna and therefore must be honored, given respect as much as we give to Krishna. Yasya deve para bhaktir, yata deve tata guru. Just like we worship Krishna, same way we should worship spiritual master, Guru Prabhupada. Why? Because they are confidential servants, they are representatives of the Supreme Lord. Now, here Parikshit is telling Shukamuni that because you are vastly learned in Vedic literature, self-realized in transcendence, and third, a great devotee of the Lord, you are as good as the personality of Godhead. Now the Lord, He knows everything. Vastly learned what? He knows everything. Everything comes from Him. And realization, what for the Lord? Everything is realized. Everything He knows. And great devotee. So they become as good as the Supreme Lord, Bhagavan. We will go through the purport and see what Prabhupada is mentioning here. In the Brahma Samhita, it is said that the Supreme Absolute Truth, Govinda, the personality of Godhead, although one without a second, is infallibly expanded by innumerable forms, non-different from one another. And although He is the original person, He is still ever young and permanent, youthful energy. He is very difficult to know simply by learning the transcendental science of the Vedas, but he is very easily realized by his pure devotees. So Prabhupada is writing here of Brahma Samhita verse, the meaning of that verse. Which is that verse? Advaitam achyuttam anadim anantarupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayauvanam Cha Vedeshu Durlabham Madhurlabham Atma Bhakto Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajam. See, the Brahma is saying Lord is Advaitam. Advaita means four meanings. I have explained many times. One without a second, and all the incarnations, Swamshas, are equal to Him. Third is, there is no difference between Krishna and Krishna's name. Krishna and Krishna's abode, everything identical with the Lord. Fourth is, and when we were small children, and today there is a difference, but there is no such difference in Krishna. They are all one. He is always the Supreme Lord. So Advaitam. Achyuttam, one who never falls down, infallible. Advaitam, Achyuttam. Anadim, who has no beginning. Anadim. Anantarupa, endless forms. Adyam Purana Purush, the oldest person. And how he is? Navayauvanam Cha, like a fresh youth. And for such a person, who is Advaitam, Achyuttam, Anadim, Anantarup, Adyam Purana Purush, Navayauvanam Cha, such a person Vedeshu Durlabham. Simply studying the Vedic literature, you cannot understand him. Adurlabham Atma Bhakto. Only by pure devotional service one can understand the Supreme Lord. No other way. The expansions of different forms of the Lord, as known as from Krishna to Baladev to Sankarshana, from Sankarshan to Vasudeva, from Vasudeva to Aniruddha, from Aniruddha to Pradyumna, and then again to second Sankarshana, and from him to the Narayana Purusha avatars and innumerable other forms which are compared to the constant flowing of the uncountable waves of a river, are all one and the same. The Lord has so many expansions. First expansion is Baladev, Balaram. From him Sankarshana, Aniruddha, Pradyumna, Vasudeva, like this goes on. Then there is the Purusha avatars, Karanadakshayi Vishnu or Narayana, or then second is Garbhodakshayi Vishnu and Shirodakshayi Vishnu. All these avatars, they are all one with the Lord. He only takes, therefore they are known as Swarupa. Swarupa avatars. One with Krishna. They are all Vishnu Tattva. No difference. But still, there is one original. That's all we have to understand. Deeparchireva hi dashantaram abhyupetya Deepayate vivarta hetu samana dharma Yasdadrigeva hi cha vishnutaya vibhati Govindam adipurusham tamaham bhajami. With one Deepa, we can light so many others during Kartik Mass. We do that. All are giving same light, same brightness. So similarly, Krishna expands and all are equally powerful like him. But in that there is one original Deepa. Original. That has to be understood. And the example given here is like the waves coming from a river or ocean, continuous waves are coming. Who can count? So similarly, their Lord has Ananta Rupa, endless forms. They are like lamps of equal power which kindle from one lamp to another. That is transcendental potency of the Lord. The Vedas say that He is so complete that even though the whole complete identity emanates from Him, He still remains the same complete whole. Purnasya Purnam Adaya Purnam Eva Vashishyate. Or as such, there is no validity in a material conception of the Lord produced by the mental speculators. Thus He remains always a mystery for the mundane scholars, even if he is vastly learned in Vedic literature. Vedeshu Durlabham Adurlabham Atma Bhakto. Now Prabhupada has quoted another verse. This is from the Ishopanishad. That verse is very, very popular. Om Purna Adaha Purna Purnat Purnam Ujjhase Purnasya Purnam Adhaya Purnam Eva Vashishyate. The Lord is complete, Purna, and whatever has come from Him is also complete. All completes have come from Him. But still, He is perfect balance, He is still full. Just like in our material calculation, Suppose somebody has got 1,000 rupees and he distributes 10 rupees to 100 people. 1,000 rupees gone. He had only 1,000 rupees. 10 rupees he went on distributing to 100 people. All 1,000 rupees gone. This is how we have got experience. But Krishna, he is complete. Whatever has come from him is complete. But still, he is always poor. Not that he has become zero. 1 plus 1, material calculation equals to 2. 1 minus 1 equals to 0. This is material calculation. Spiritual calculation. 1 plus 1 equals to 1. 1 minus 1 equals to 1. This is spiritual mathematics. As such, there is no validity in the matter, okay? So mental speculators, they can't understand all this. Therefore, Vedeshu Durlabham, Adurlabham, Atma Bhakti. Only by rendering devotional service, one can understand. Therefore, the long run is beyond the limit of conception of mundane, learned scholars, philosophers or scientists. He is easily understandable for the pure devotees because the Lord declares in the Bhagavad Gita 18.54 that after surpassing the stage of knowledge, one is able to be engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. Then only one can know the true nature of the Lord. One cannot have any clear conception of the Lord or His holy name, form, attributes, pastime, etc. unless one is engaged in His transcendental loving service. The statement of the Bhagavad Gita that one must first of all surrender unto the Lord, being freed from all other engagements, means that one must become a pure, unconditional devotee of the Lord. Only then one can know Him by the strength of devotional service. So Prabhupada is quoting here two verses from the Gita, 18.54. Brahma bhuta prasannatma na sochati na kankshati samaha sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labhati param. So one who has come to this stage of Brahma bhuta, what are the signs? First sign is prasannatma, always jubilant. Prasannatma, na sochati, he never laments. Na kankshati, not hankering, I want this, I want this. Whatever comes, whatever the Lord arranges, he is happy by that. Na sochati, na kankshati. Samaha sarveshu bhuteshu is equal to everyone. Mad bhaktim labhate param. And with great determination, he is engaged in the Lord's service. And the next verse, 18.55, there Krishna says, Bhaktya mam abhichanati yavan yaschasmin tatvataha tato mam tatvato jnatva vishate tadnantaram. It is only by pure devotional service that one can understand the Lord. Bhaktya mam abhichanati. Without devotional service, it is not possible. Yavan yaschasmin tatvataha tato mam tatvato jnatva. And when one understands me in truth, tato mam tatvato jnatva vishate tadnantaram. Then he can enter into the spiritual kingdom. Vishate means entering into the spiritual world. Vishate tadnantaram. So without devotional service, one can never understand Krishna. And that's just now we quoted from Brahma Samhita also. And the Damodar Leela, Krishna, that he performed Kartik Mas. That Leela also, the philosophical understanding of that Leela is that only by devotion one can get Krishna. Yashoda is binding Krishna, not with ropes, but with love, with devotion, with bhakti. Only then, not otherwise. You can never get Krishna. So further we'll go through. Maharaj Parikshit admitted in the previous verse that the Lord is inconceivable even for the greatest learned scholars. Lord is inconceivable, achintya. Why then should he again request Shukadeva Goswami to clarify his insufficient knowledge about the Lord? The reason is clear. Not only was Shukadeva Goswami vastly learned in Vedic literature, but he was also a great self-realized soul and a powerful devotee of the Lord. A powerful devotee of the Lord is, by the grace of the Lord, more than the Lord himself. Now Shukamuni, Parikshit in the previous verses he has said the Lord is Achintya. Still he is asking now Shukamuni to clear this. Why? Because Shukamuni is not just vastly learned, he is self-realized and a great devotee. And when one becomes a great devotee, Prabhupada is writing here that it becomes more than the Lord. How? By the grace of the Lord. By the grace of the Lord, he becomes more than the Lord. How do we understand it? He becomes more than the Lord. The Lord wants to serve such devotees. Like Krishna became the charioteer of Arjuna. Now if you see that Arjuna's position is more than Krishna. Or Mother Yashoda is binding Krishna, holding a stick. Now if you see here, Yashoda's position is more than Krishna. Krishna is subordinate. Mother Yashoda is greater position she is holding. So like this the Lord gives glories to the Lord, to his devotees. Like we have seen in the first canto also, when Krishna instructed Yudhishthira after the Mahabharata war, Yudhishthira was still very dissatisfied. Then he made a Bhishma Pitama speak. And when Bhishma spoke, Yudhishthira became convinced. Krishna spoke, he never became convinced. But when Bhishma spoke, he became convinced. What does this mean? Krishna could not convince him. Bhishma could convince him. See, he is sitting in everyone's heart. When Krishna himself spoke, he made Yudhishthira not to become convinced. And he is sitting within Bhishma also. Bhishma spoke. And then Yudhishthira is sitting in his heart, he became convinced. Actually everything if you see, the Lord only has done this. He wants that his devotees be glorified even more. He wants to show that Bhishma Pitama is greater than me. See, I could not convince him, Bhishma could convince him. Nobody is greater than the Lord. But the Lord wants to give credit to his devotees. They become more than the Lord. The personality of Godhead, Sri Ramachandra, attempted to bridge the Indian Ocean to reach the island of Lanka. But Sri Hanumanji, the unalloyed devotee of the personality of Godhead, could cross the ocean simply by jumping over it. No, the Lord could not do this. To go to Lanka, he had to make a bridge. But Hanuman just flew. The Lord is so merciful upon his pure devotees that he presents his beloved devotee as more powerful than himself. The Lord expressed himself to be unable to save Durvasa Muni, although the Muni was so powerful that he could reach the Lord directly under material conditions. But Durvasa Muni was saved by Maharaj Ambarish, a devotee of the Lord. When Durvasa tried to offend, kill Maharaj Ambarisha, immediately the Lord's personal weapon, Sudarshana, came there. And it started chasing Durvasa. He came to Brahmalok, Kailas, finally reached Vaikuntha. The Lord said, I am helpless, I can't do anything. Go there only. So you should go to where you offended. You had to come back again to Ambarish Maharaj. Then Ambarish prayed to Sudarshana. Sudarshana disappeared from there. In this sequence, in this Leela, the Lord made one statement. It's a very nice sloka. Aham bhakta paradino ya asvatantri vadvijaha sadhubir grasta hridayo bhakter bhakta janapriya. The Lord is saying, He Himself, Aham bhakta paradin. I am completely dependent on my devotees. Aham bhakta paradin. Ya asvatantri vadvijaha. I have no independence. Whatever they say, I do. Aham bhakta paradin. Ya swatantri vija. Sadhu bir grasta hridayo. What kind of devotees they are? That the Lord becomes dependent on them and He does whatever they say. What kind of devotees? Sadhu bir grasta hridayo. These devotees, in their heart, they have no desires. Personal. They render service to Krishna only for the Lord's pleasure. In return, nothing they expect. So the Lord becomes immensely pleased with such devotees. And He becomes paradhin, dependent on these devotees. And here Swatantri Vatucha, I don't have any independence, he said. Actually, he is fully independent, but still, he puts himself under the control of his devotees. Bhakter Bhakta Janapriya. What to speak of such devotees? Even devotees of such devotees are very dear to me. Like Hanuman is such a devotee of Lord Rama. And if we become devotees of Hanuman, we will also become dear to Krishna, to Rama. Just like Prabhupada said in one place, I am Krishna's. You are mine. He is telling his disciples, I am Krishna's. You are mine. Therefore, you are also Krishna's. Last word. Therefore, not only a devotee of the Lord, more powerful than the Lord, but also worshipable, worship of the devotee is considered more effective than direct worship of the Lord. Mad Bhakta Puja Vidikha. Worshipping Krishna directly or worshipping the devotee is more powerful method, they are saying. The conclusion is therefore that a serious devotee must first approach a spiritual master who not only is well versed in the Vedic literature but is also a great devotee with factual realization of the Lord and his different energies. Without the help of such a spiritual master, one cannot make progress in transcendental science of the Lord. And a bona fide spiritual master like Shukadeva Goswami does not speak about the Lord only in the matter of his internal potencies, but also explains how he associates with his external potencies. The Lord's pastimes in the internal potency are displayed in his activities in Vrindavan, but his external potency works are directed in his features of Karanadakshayi Vishnu, Garbhodakshayi Vishnu, and Kshirodakshayi Vishnu. So the spiritual master like Shukadeva, he will not just talk only about internal activities, internal potency, that is spiritual, but also of the external, material. His internal activities are pastimes in Vrindavan. External are from the Purusha avatars, Karanadakshayi Vishnu, Garbhodakshayi Vishnu, and Kshirodakshayi Vishnu. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur offers his good counsel to the interested Vaishnavas when he says that they should not be interested in hearing only about the Lord's activities like Ras Leela, but must be keenly interested in his pastimes, in his features of Purusha avatars, in connection with the Srishti Tattva, creational functions, following the example of Maharaj Parikshit, the ideal disciple, and Shukadeva Goswami, the ideal spiritual master. Last point, Prabhupada has written here about Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. He is making a conclusion, he is giving good counsel regarding. He is saying that one should not just try to hear about the Lord's activities like Ras Leela, internal activities in Vrindavan, but he should also learn, keenly interested, one should be keenly interested in his pastimes, that is of the Purusha avatars, 3 Vishnu avatars, just now I said. One should also learn about the Srishti Tattva, how he creates this material world. Creational function, just like following in the example of Maharaj Parikshit, because Parikshit wanted to understand all this. So Parikshit Maharaj, we have to follow in his example, the ideal disciple. How should be a disciple? Like Parikshit. And Shukadeva Goswami, the ideal spiritual master. So we have to learn all these things, how the Lord creates. We have to understand how great He is. And for that, we have to study all these 9 cantos of Bhagavat before we enter into the 10th canto. We'll stop here now. Today there will be no program here at Govardhana. There is a house program, Sudarshan Narsimha Homa, and followed by Abhishek, Aarti, Kirtan, Pravachan and Mahaprasad. It is at a residence of Arul Raj, his earlier material name. Initiated name is Ananta Padmanabh Das. His house is behind ISKCON temple. How to reach there? I have shared in the Prabhupada Vani, the location, route map is also there, invitation is also there, and all those requested, I request all to come and participate in today's program there. Okay, we'll stop here. Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Dhanyavad.